Hello, Ezemy one, and welcome back to Rat Run. I'm your usual everyday time puzzling rat girl, Ezemy Jika, and today I'll be solving Rat Run 15 Connectedness. Experiment 15, Magenta, 20th of November, 1974. I had a feeling Elliot wouldn't be satisfied until all 9 teleports were integrated into a single maze. Continued teleport training is apparently essential for Phase 3, though he remains frustratingly tight-lipped about the full details of those plans. I'm now convinced that this has become about more than just, it seems Elliot might have an ulterior motive. Well, that's not our problem. Normal Sudoku rules apply, and with the experiments Retro Cupcake, Black Currents separates digits in a 1 to 2 ratio. We've seen those. Teleports. Entering a teleport will cause things to be instantly transported to the matching colored teleport. From there, the path will continue. Matching teleports always have identical digits, but teleports that don't match will always have different digits. And because we're using all 9 pairs of teleports, they will all have a full set of digits 1 through 9. Test constraint. Finks's path is formed of 1 or more segments. Any use of teleports will divide Finks's path up into physically separate segments, i.e., if a teleport is used, the current path segment ends with the entry teleport, and a new separate path segment begins at the matching exit teleport. So every teleportation, between every teleportation is a new path segment. Any path segment must function as a renban. It must consist entirely of a set of non-repeating consecutive digits, which can be arranged in any order along the path segment. So renban lines sound a little counterintuitive, but they're actually more straightforward than it might seem. Before that, however, I do want to look a little bit at the topology of the grid itself, because several of these teleports are sort of isolated and can only connect to 1 or 2 others. Notably, B and C can only connect to each other, B and D, F and E, I and H, I and G. No, that's not I. That's F and H, I and G. So B can connect to D and C only. F can connect to only E and H. I can only connect to G. And if we look at the grid here, there is one thing that without going into too much detail, there's one deduction we can make about the path segments. A renban line can only consist of a set of consecutive non-repeating digits, of which there are only a maximum of 9. So a single segment cannot be more than 9 cells long. Teleport C could not connect to teleport A because this path is 10 cells long. So A can, in fact, I don't think this one can connect anything because 1, 2, 3, well, for 1, only Finks can go here, so we can ignore that. This A can go 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 8, 9. So A can connect to E or D. So A can connect to E or D. C can connect to B, B, D, E, F, H, I. So, and then I can connect to G or H. And they can also connect to each other, potentially. But can it go this far? It can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yes, I can also connect to E or D. Let me just switch the positions of G and I. And I'm pretty sure those are all of the connections. Now, if we look at this in slightly more detail, Sphinx is exactly 9 steps away from the cupcake, so potentially that could be a valid renban line. However, there is one problem with this. Because all of the digits in this section of the line are unique, the last digit of this row would have to be the same as the digit that Sphinx is in. So Sphinx cannot indeed go directly to the cupcake, which should have been, which was probably obvious. So if you look at some of these paths, let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I could potentially go directly to E. Let's say Sphinx goes from here directly to the cupcake. Why wouldn't that work? Wait, no, I'm counting wrong. I need to count the teleporter cell as well. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that, yes, that does indeed. So the only teleporter that can reach the cupcake is teleporter C. Okay, that seems like everything. Take a brief look at the other rules of renban lines. Shorter renban lines can have quite a few different possibilities because they only have to be consecutive digits. They could be any pair from 1 to 2, swapped up to 8 or 9. If you start getting up to longer lines, such as if you have a renban line that is 5 cells or more, you can know for sure that it contains the digit 5. Because if your renban line contains a set of consecutive digits in any order. So for a renban line of length 5, it could, for example, contain the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 mixed up and then placed back down in any order. The only constraint is that the set of digits are consecutive, not necessarily the order of them. So if you have a renban line of length 5 or greater, it will have to contain the digit 5 because if you start at the lowest digit, 1, it has to go up to 5. And if you start at the highest digit, 9, it has to go down to 5. And if you have longer renban lines, then the range of digits it has to include expands. So a length 6 renban line has to include the digits 4, 5, and 6. If you start at 1, it has to go up to 6. If you start at 9, it has to go down to 4. And so on as you keep adding more digits until you reach the full length 9 renban line, which contains every digit exactly once. So the longer a renban line is, the more useful it becomes. Those aren't especially useful notes, I suppose, but we'll see if we can get any use out of those. We already know all the rules, so let's just get started. So to start with, the line could go to A or E. So let's look at the ending first. We know that it has to end by coming out of C, which means it has to go through C and through B, which means it has to come through D. And that gives us a bit of a starting point here, because there's our two renban lines, which are two sets of consecutive digits, fully filling an entire box. So the 5 will have to be on the larger one, which means the smaller one will have to be 1 through 4 or 6 through 9. However, we have a crop key dot here, and the digits 6 through 9 do not contain any digits valid pairs for a crop key dot. So these have to be 1 through 4. The 3 cannot be on the dot. The 2 cannot be off the dot. So that makes B and D 1, 3, or 4 as well. And that puts 5 through 9 on teleporter C. Now, eventually we're going to have to connect these two digits, but there's a lot of space to play with in here, so it could potentially be quite a few different digits. From B, no, this is teleport D. Teleport D can connect to... Actually, teleport D can also connect to teleport E, just straight across here. Let me add that line. There it is. Whoops. There we go. Great. I guess I'm not really accounting for which side of the teleporter is which, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A can't actually connect to these. I miscounted. Whoops. Oh. What is it? A cannot connect to D or E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But they can still both connect to I, just barely. So this will have to connect to I or E. D-I-E. That's ominous. If it connects to E, then it would go from E to F, F to H. Well, wait a second. Can teleport A even connect to anything at all? Wait a second. No, A doesn't connect to anything ever, so we can't use teleport A at all. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, teleport A is impossible to use, so Finks needs to go directly to E, then to F, then to H, and then let's look at this version of the path here. So we're going from Finks to E. We're going from Finks to E, E to F to H, and we're going backwards from C to B to D. And we've already used E, so D has to connect to I. Through this way somehow. And then I would have to connect to G, and G would have to connect to H. So that's, whoops. So that's the path through the maze. I suppose I could recolor some of the segments to make it more clear which connects to which. Nah. I think it's pretty clear which direction each segment has to connect to at any given point. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a 9-cell renban. Okay, interesting. This teleport E has to be a renban digit, and it cannot contain a 3, because there has to be a 3 on one of these two cells. So it has to be 1, 2, 4, or 8. the connection from D to I has to be 9 cells. These 4 digits need to be these 4 digits because essentially this this path segment is an extra region and they both share these 5 cells. So these 4 digits need to be these 4 digits, which means that these 2 digits need to be the same, have the same value. Or these two cells need to contain the same digit because they each see these 3 cells. That doesn't really narrow anything down for us, but it is something potentially. This box is completely filled, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if it's useful at this point yet. Well, actually, it does tell us, as I mentioned, that it contains a 5. Also, that this one is of length 5, so it also contains a 5. Can't be in this cell, so that pulls a 5 out of here, and also pulls a 5 out of there. So that's the 5 in this box. There cannot be a 5 on this part of this path segment. Ah, 1, 3, 4. So this cannot be a 1, because if it's 1, then it has to contain the digits 1 through 5, which would remove all possibilities from here. In fact, it cannot be less than 3, because if it can't contain a 3, so if it's a 2, it has to increase up to 3, so it cannot be 1 or 2. It has to start with at least 4. Well, this one can still be 2. So, and that further constrains the digits it can be, because it needs to be 5 of the digits between 4 and 9, which means it has to contain 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, it's the digits 4 through 9. Great. So it has to contain 5 through 8, which puts a 9 here, actually. Which actually means that it is the digits 4 through 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. What? This one can't be the 5. I guess this teleporter could be a 5. Oh, and because this is 4 through 8, these can't contain a 4, which means these do contain a 4. Yes. So this is 1, 3, this is 5 through 8. What digit are we missing? 2. H is a 2. So that is a 4-8 pair here. So it has to contain this line because we know it has a 2 on it, and it has to have a 5 on it. That means it also has to have a 3 and a 4. The 4 cannot be anywhere in this column, so the 4 has to be here. Putting an 8 and a 4 here. And these digits need to contain 3 and 5 at least. And they could be, the last digit could either be 1 or 6. So this could be either 1 through 5 or 2 through 6. Either way, these 2 digits need to contain a 9, which means, yes, because this is 3 cells and it has to contain a 9, these need to be 7, 8, and 9. Right? Wait a second. I feel like I must have done something wrong, because... Oh! These can still be 6. Right. It's just that this can't be the 3 side of the 3, 6. Whoops. Okay. That still puts a 9 here, which makes this 7, 8, and 9. because these digits are still 1, 3, 5, or 6. Oh, and yeah, so there has to be a 1 on this part of the line because it won't fit onto either of these lines anymore. So the 6 cannot go here. These are 1 through 5. The 6 has to go into one of these two cells. 6, 7, 8, or 9. This is 7 or 8. This is 7, 8, or 9. This can't be a 5. Right, if this is an 8, then it forces an 8 to go onto this teleporter, and we can't have two teleporters with the same digit. So this does have to be a 6 because of that. That puts a 1 on this teleporter D, putting a 3 on teleporter B. And we're missing, what digits are we missing? We're missing 5, 7, 8, and 9 for the teleporter cells. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these have to be 1 and 2 in this order. Interesting. So this has to contain a 1, and the minimum for this one is 5. Oh, and because this segment of the line has a 1 and a 3 on it, it also has to contain the 2. And it also has to contain a 4 somewhere. And the 4 can't go anywhere in this box, so the 4 has to be here. And it could potentially contain a 5 or a 6. A 5, no. It needs to contain a 5, but the 5 cannot go in this column, so this needs to be the 5. And it also needs to contain a 6, or a 7, or an 8. It can contain at least the digits 1 through 5, but it could contain more of them. And so that means there has to be a 6 here or here, because it can't contain a 7, but no 6. It has to contain a 6 first, then potentially a 7, then potentially an 8. So this can't be a 6. There also has to be a 9 somewhere in this box. And the 9 cannot be in this cell, because then there would be no way to get through here and pick up both 6, 7, 8, and 8 in these cells. So one of these two cells has to be the 9. And the 7 or 8 could go potentially anywhere. Oh, right. This Kropke dot. This has to be an 8, 4. Putting an 8 on this teleporter. Pulling an 8 off of all of these. This one is a 5. I guess we knew that already. And between A and I, we're missing 7 and 9. Oh, and this 7-9 pair means this is 8. Right. So these three digits are 6, 8, and 9. This one has to be the 6. And that means this has to be 7. And because there's no 7 in this box, there's nothing for the 6 to connect to, so the path has to go directly to the teleporter, ignoring these two digits, which are too large. The remaining digits in this row are 5, 7, and 9. The remaining digits in this box are 2, 7, 8, and 9. I guess that puts a 2 here. That's a 7, 8, 9 triple in this row, putting a 5 here, 7 there. That's a 7, 8 pair in this row once again, putting a 9 there, 8 there, 5 here. These two digits are 3 and 6. these 3 digits, which includes that one, I guess, are 1, 7, and 9. This cannot be a 1, 1, 7, 9, 6. So these have to be 1, 1 and 6 in this order, because these 4 digits have to be the same as these 4 digits. Putting a 3 and 6 here. This segment of the line, it needs to contain all of the digits between 2 and 8. Meaning it has to contain a 3 and a 4, and also a 5, 6, and 7 somewhere. But it's slightly constrained, but it has to come down to at least to here and touch at least one of these 2 cells, potentially both. Probably not both. These 3 are 4, 5, and 8. That's a 5, 4, and 8. Ah, right. This renban can't touch another 8. So it has to connect to these 2 cells, which have to be the digits between 5 and 8. They have to be 7 and 6, putting 9s on teleporter I and 7s on teleporter A. So these 3 digits are, what, 1, 2, and 3? These 2 digits are 2 and 5. These 3 are 3, 4, and 8. So the only line segment left to deduce is this one here. And it has to wind through this box. Actually, I guess I forgot that diagonal movement is a thing. But either way, because the endpoints are 1 and 9, it is essentially another region. Meaning it has to visit the digit 8, which is going to have to be outside of this box because there's an 8 in here already. Let's see, these digits are 1, 5, and 6. It cannot be a 1 because there's already a 1 on the line, so this has to be the 5. 1 and 6, 3 and 5. It does have to collect a 6 at some point. It has to collect this 6, in fact. Because the other closest 6 is way too far away. Let's see. These digits are 1, 2, 7, 9. These ones are 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's not great. Let's look up here. It has to be a 1 in one of these 2 cells. This has to be either 1, 2. Well, actually it has to be 1, 2 because it can't be 4A. So this is 1, 2. Putting an 8 here. 6 and 8 there. 5 and 2 here. This digit is 9. We can disambiguate the rest of these. 7 and 4, 8 and 7, 4, 7 and 9. This is a 6. These 2 digits are 3 and 5. Yes. These 2 digits are 4 and 8. 4, 8, 4, 3. So, the path has to connect to a 2, but not to a 1. And it also needs a 6 and an 8. Whoops. And an 8. One of these 2 7s. Let's see. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, Uh, 8 and 9. So the only digits remaining are 2 and 7, and they need to cross this gap here. And the only way to bridge that is by connecting to this cell specifically. So that's the final path, putting a 2 here and disambiguating the last pattern. There we go. That was a pretty clean solve, apart from that little slip up at the beginning, I think. Even if Elliot doesn't entirely trust me, Fink seems to. I feel like I've developed a good sense for how she's feeling, and as this has grown, I've become more and more concerned that repeated teleport use could lead to small copying errors accumulating over time. Elliot maintains that the copying process is now so fine-tuned, with errors so negligible, that it would take many thousands of teleportations before any effects were noticeable. Even so, another one overheated today, D this time, and cut out after use. I despair. Teleport D today, huh? That's this one? It was a 1 this time. Strange. But otherwise, a very nice, clean solve today. But, so join me next time when we do Experiment 16, Schrodinger's Rat. Until then, mo sono chika desu yo. Oh, Ezemy.